Ya, personalitinya udah mulai kebuka nih.
Thanks, Furina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Inherent risk of the test, Lady Furina. You may.
Nah,
Hey!
Setia's Chief Justice. I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fountaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is guilty.
oke. Sekarang kita akan lanjut ke part 2 dengan mode masih QB seperti ini untuk hadapin Furina ya.
Well, what's wrong? What's the oratrice's verdict?
No, the oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus: the Hydro Archon, guilty to be punished via the death sentence.
Ho 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 ho.
That's actually one of the available sentences?
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an
Furina's been sentenced to death by the oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to... Is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Okay.
Even Fache wasn't sentenced to death by the oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Furina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt.
Okay.
Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Any mission.
Dia bawa apa?
Is that the first prophecy slate?
Wow!
So the knave private...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of... But has the trial already concluded?
Don't worry.
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow... Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates.
Apakah ada
So
membuktikan
what do you see?
sesuatu?
What is it?
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Oke.
Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real...
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fountaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the...
Oke. Stone slate ya. Mari kita bukar.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans.
Oke. Lalu?
Does that mean that Fountainians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But the second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky and the Hydra Archon and her people worshipping it together. But this must be the point when the Hydra Archon and the Fountainians were branded with... The third slate shows the Hydra Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds me... Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fountainians have been talking about. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first.
Mari kita bongkar dulu nih. Oke. Ini seriously bingung nih. Sebentar. Childe kah?
Doesn't sound quite right.
Bukan.
That doesn't sound quite right. That doesn't...
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon and the original sin cast down on the people of Fountaine by Celestia.
Oke. Masuk akal. Oceanids itu pipa. Ini kah?
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women that Fountainians can be dissolved in and the first stone slate tells us that long ago, the Hydro Archon used her power. This might be the reason that Fountainians can dissolve.
Oke. Lalu yang ketiga, many people. Gimana nih? Bukan?
It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that be alluding to the same thing?
Oke, mulai masuk akal nih. Jadi pertama itu, kalau sejarah paling pertama si Hydro Archon ini membuat sekumpulan Oceanid menjadi human atau manusianya. Lalu yang kedua, ini apa tadi ya, kalau nggak salah slide-nya itu bilang si ini dia, kalau nggak salah Hydro Archon sebelumnya itu melakukan suatu tindakan kesalahan yang tidak diketahui penyebabnya. Nah, ini juga hampir sama, kesalahan apa yang dilakukan. Lalu yang ketiga ini, kalau si gambar Furina yang dikelilingi banyak orang, kayaknya kejadiannya di Navia. Ini ada di live streaming ya, kalau guys boleh lihat. Nah, tinggal yang ini nih. Kalau masalah sit on the truth-nya itu ada di ini kah? Bukan. Apakah ini village?
The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society, but not many people believed it at first. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fountainians to dissolve. It seems increasingly likely that the prophecy, if we hadn't dealt with it in time, things could have gone very badly.
Wow!
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an Oceanid. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin.
Betul.
fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness, and was forced to take part in a trial meant to make her stay.
Apakah mungkin trial inilah yang membuat proses menjadi human ke oceanid ke human? Menarik.
The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together, loads of truths should come to light.
Oke, sebentar. Nah, semua terverifikasi.
Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! So that's how you can make sense of it. But then it feels like...
Let's hear them.
Incredible! Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
Betul sekali.
All Fountainians were originally created, but the evidence for that can be found in how only Fountainians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved...
Indeed.
Second slate.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably anchored Celeste. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty. It's
The Hydro Archon's true sin?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese. But
Yeah! Isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fountaine be washed away. Did Paimon get all that right?
you've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, when we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the... Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt.
Well,
Did you get it?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fountaine. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fountainian. In the Fountaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life, not one to give in. She eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiar. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels. But if Fountainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids.
Wow!
Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fountaine first came into being.
So we were all sentience before we turned into human beings?
That's way too much information for me. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death?
This really might be too much information for your regular Fountainian.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective a key point of the visual on the third slate, they have not been dissolved. Which implies that the nation of Fountaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others, who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fountaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid fulfilling the prophecy, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold.
What should we do?
No matter what.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial... However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that as for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before. This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must
Maksudnya?
That doesn't sound quite...
It was both dream and reality.
Si Paus?
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
Oh. Childe. Oke, di luar dugaan nih.
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordials, and once it has finished consuming all of the energy...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fountainians out of Ocean...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fountainians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fountainians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back to target the people again once it's managed to recover its strength?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely come onto land far sooner. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting...
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy, even if the entirety of Teyvat were to be...
That's not... We've already done everything we've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle...
Indeed, that's not how
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy.
Oh iya, pernyataan si N itu. Tuh kok gelap.
Just as prophecies are usually only... Ultimately, fate shall serve as your own...
What's happening with the arteries?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Furina! No, I still need answers.
Detektif nggak suka ini. Kemungkinan besar entah partnya akan panjang atau partnya kita akan bagi dua. We will see until the end ya. Tapi kalau misalnya belum cukup, kita lanjut ke part berikutnya.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too...
You are not Furina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question...
Fusolo, why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Good, the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. She knew full well that and as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principle. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. I had to outwit the heavenly principles. Allow the... I'm a genius, I know. I can only... Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. between the But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid
So you were also once one of the Oceanids?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eye, after becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being.
Wow.
Oke, mulai masuk akal. Furina atau Fossilor ini punya dua kepribadian. Oke,
The
nyambung.
me you see before you now she could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or her strengths were of a kind. But in my eyes, Furina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human. Anyway, so all part of the plan, of course. The plan to... Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Fossilor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free. Instead, she was forced to take the stage. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Furina is only human. Even though she has had a long life, her mind... I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure.
It has indeed. And it's been 500 years.
Oke, jadi tujuan, waduh, kurang nyambung juga sih. Kalau memang ada yang pernah melihat ini langsung, bolehlah komen di bawah ya. Jadi tujuannya untuk mengutuk si Furina ini selama 500 tahun loh, dari proses pembentukan Oceanid. Waduh, di luar perkiraan juga nih ya.
And all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely.
Waduh, scene-nya akan berganti-ganti nih. Oke, gimana? Tim kayaknya masih ready ya. Oke. Login dulu karena emang lagi nggak bisa login. Kita cek sebelum kita tanding banget nih, semua ada fine ya. Steam masih masalah foto ini lagi, biarin aja lah kali ya. Let's go. Kita sudah bawa tim yang oke lah kalau menurut detektif sini. So let's see. Furina, that you?
Oh, who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand your admiration. All right, it is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance.
Apa ini artinya?
Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Fossilor, the eyes of countless Fountaine.
Oh, matiin spotlight ya. Gimana?
Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not.
The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Be sanctified.
Mana dia?
You're toast! Let the world collide!
An oversight on my part. Silence!
Oke, matiin lagi.
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards! Let my name echo in song!
Bow your head. The tides beckon.
Oke. Jadi kayak bermain peran ini. Siapa lagi? Emas. Oke. Ini Furina. Oh. Waduh. Sebentar. Ini kok jadi kompleks begini ya ceritanya. Oke, nice. Yuk kita lanjut.
Furina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're mirror me? How
Mirror you.
mirror me?
The prophecy.
What prophecy? Wait. The people will all be dissolved into the waters. And
Oh.
what's going on? I can't seem to remember anything clearly.
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you.
But doesn't that mean everyone will...
Oh, don't worry. I will tell you how to save everyone.
Oh, so there's still... As for the suffering, well, I bet if the prophecy will come true, if there were scales with all the people of Fountaine...
I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well.
Play as a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must never let anyone suspect your identity.
Oke. Jadi begini toh awalnya. Waduh.
If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy.
But how will I do that?
Don't worry. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already know what such an entity would remember. Your true
I'm still... So, how long...
to accomplish this mission, but I promise you, all
A trial, huh?
Oke. Apakah ini bisa lebih dijelasin lagi ya? Detektif masih rada bingung nih. Oke, kita coba dengerin aja dulu.
The Maison Cardinal. What should I say to most appear like a god? Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's as the god Fosalor, the god of justice. I shall once again thank you all for coming. If you should have any question, this should do it. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the end.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just be a Maison-backed puppet.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Right. Mirmi said that I calm down, Furina. Think assertive, with a strong sense of presence. Now, I was wondering if some weak pup... Well, you may consider my previous... Now then!
So that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside...
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful!
Oh my god!
After all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my accession speech. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your... We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin. The scales of justice, may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fires and drink to the future of Fountaine. There is no, so long as I, the...
Lagi ya guys ya.
Lady
Bingung
Furina,
banget detektif.
here are today's case reports as well.
Come now, was I not just... Besides, none...
If I may be so
A magnificent...
That's true, I fear I lack...
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now.
Sedikit lagi lah ya.
Lady Furina, I don't...
No need to thank me. All right.
He's doing... You're such a...
Lady Furina, you're...
I see. It's as I thought then. All manner of signs indicate that... Really?
I'm...
It's good to see that everything's good. Maybe this is fine.
Aduh, banyak banget. Oke deh, kita cukupkan
Lady
sampai
Furina,
di sini
here are the
dulu.
new trial reports for the latest.
There'll be no need for that.
Lady Furina,
Indeed, my dear.
Aduh.
Lady
Bukan.
Furina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies near Poisson.
Ini detektif nggak mau nih.
Understood. I feel utterly exhausted.
Please close dong. Detektif bingung nih.
like a dream. I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience with you was Madame Dioteria, almost 20 generations ago. What? Are you crying?
Really now? This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god.
No wonder.
Please, udah dong.
Enter hundreds of years must I never imagined. Have I want to tell someone, anyone about this. I've conducted. All I can do is keep heart.
Please, udah dong.
Furina, you don't have to although I don't know what you might be keeping from every...
Share, Mark. That's impossible.
But even if your burden doesn't need to, just share it with me.
A witness. And if to that... He's right. But if things don't play out... No, Furina. But what if... Furina, you've worked so hard for so... Is it such an outrage? If you let this opportunity... Think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to... All you need to do, dear spectator, is to
Fine.
Aduh.
So even Furina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Sorry guys, sorry. Ini detektif perlu analisa lebih lanjut sebelum kita masuk ke final battle-nya. Ini di luar dugaan, bahkan pikiran QB mod aja nggak bisa nih sampai nge-full kayak gini. Kita cukupkan sampai di sini. See you in the next video in part 3 Furina's case in Fountaine. Oke. Terima kasih telah melihat video detektif kali ini. Tetap support terus, klik like yang banyak, untuk melihat ending dari episode ini. Oke, see you in the next video. Bye and ciao.